1, 2, 3 tricks to fall asleep with insomnia. Hey, it's Coach Vulcan, and tonight we're going to talk about a man who used 3 very specific things when he had insomnia about 16 years ago to help him fall asleep at night. And last time, if you remember, I asked you, who is this man, to kind of make a prediction or a guess. And the hint I gave you was this: you will remember me for centuries. Only 1 week will it take. Will go down in history. Could you guess who it was? Well, here's who he is. The big reveal: his name is Pete Wentz. So Pete Wentz, back in 2009, he wanted to make this song called Centuries, which he made, I believe, in about 2014, a few years later. A song that would inspire people like Steve Jobs to get their handprint and put it on the face of the planet and stay in history, as the lyrics of the song suggest, and inspire people, as Elon Musk as well, to go into space to put their footprint on the red planet's soil. But Pete Wentz, he had a problem. He had insomnia. He wasn't sleeping. He had no energy, no motivation, no inspiration to go after that dream of this amazing song that he wanted to create. So, what did Pete do? He found out 3 very specific things that when he did them, the more he did them, the more he had a good sleep at night. So that's what I want to explore with you. Pete Wentz's, what did I call them at the beginning? Tricks. Pete Wentz's 3 tricks to fall asleep with insomnia. So, let's get started with trick number 1, shall we? Let's do that. His first one was this: exercise. And you've probably heard that before. Exercise is good for sleep, so I'm not gonna go into detail there. What I wanna go with you here more is, when should you exercise? Like, you have all these possible times you could exercise: in the morning, in the evening, and after lunchtime. So which is the best one? Well, this is what sleep researchers, they asked themselves a few years ago, and they put their sleep research, their sleep hypothesis into test. They took people, they examined them, they gave them exercise in different times during the day, and they examined their sleep, hooking their brains up to computers and seeing their brain waves at night. And what did they find out? They found out some pretty interesting things. I think you're gonna find pretty interesting. So one of the things they found out was, if somebody exercised, maybe ran or went to the gym during the morning, at bedtime when they were sleeping, they had much more hours of deeper sleep. They slept much more deeply that night. If they exercised in the afternoon, however, something completely different happened. During the evening, they didn't have necessarily better deep sleep, but what happened was their core body temperature, it rose, which is not a very big surprise there. You exercise, you raise the temperature of your body. But that was good because they were doing it in the afternoon, towards nighttime, their core body temperature started dropping, and that was good, because when our core temperature drops during nighttime, that's a good thing, because we need that. You may have heard that you need a cool environment, about around 18 degrees Celsius, to fall asleep. Well, that is because your core body temperature needs to drop down in order to make you drowsy, and put you in that state where you feel sleepy and your blood fills with those Z's. And that is exactly what happened when they exercised in the afternoon. Their core body temperature, you can think of it as a graph, as a bell curve. It rose as they did the afternoon exercise, and then it dropped naturally toward nighttime, helping them fall asleep. In the evening, towards 6-7 p.m., however, something completely different happened. Their core body temperature, it rose up again, but as a bell curve went down, at night time, it did not go down all the way. So instead of them falling peacefully at sleep, the core body temperature was still up. So because their core body temperature was still up and it was not down, they had a more difficult time falling asleep. So those are the 3 times. Morning, exercise in the morning, you get more deep sleep. Exercise in the afternoon, you get a good drowsy feeling at night. But exercise in the late afternoon, you put your core body temperature up so you cannot fall asleep that easily. Does that make sense? It does. Perfect. Enough about exercise. We spent way longer here than I originally planned, but hey, I want to give as much value as I can. When I start giving, I can't stop giving. I'm going Santa Claus into night or today, whenever you're watching this. For me, it's morning actually. So, continuing on, what's the second thing that Pete Wentz did? Well, the second thing he did was meditation. He would meditate every single day. However, you maybe are hearing meditation and maybe you have tried meditating before, and for some reason maybe it made you feel relaxed, but it didn't necessarily help you fall asleep, or maybe it made you even more anxious. For some people, I've even heard that it made their sleep worse. So what's going on there? Well, it's really interesting when it comes to meditation and sleep researchers, because a lot of people were reporting that they have that meditation is not necessarily helping their sleep. They decided to make a study, figure out what was going on. So they took 300 people who were normal, healthy, they were sleeping all right, they didn't have any health problems, and they gave them and they told them to meditate. So after 3 months of meditating, they all came back and they looked at these people, seeing, hey, are they gonna be normal, right? Are they gonna be in the rested place, and do they sleep well as well? And what do they find out? Well, they found out that 17% of them, about 1 in 5, had developed relaxation-induced fear, meaning 17% of the older people who went through the research, before they didn't have any fear or anxiety falling asleep, but now after meditating they had developed sleep fear. Why? Why did they develop a relaxation, what do they call it, relaxation-induced fear? What was going on? Well, the issue was playback insomnia. All these individuals who had developed that, they found they had previous issues either with anxiety or with insomnia. So, insomnia, it was simply that recording. It was still in their subconscious, and that meditation had triggered it. For them, it was a trigger that... So instead, what we want to do is simply delete the recording. Once the recording is gone, you can meditate, you can listen to ASMR, you can relax and not worry about that recording playing again. Right, because we don't want that, of course. So, meditation, and what was the third thing that the Fallout Boy did? The third thing he did, and to me, that's the best out of all three things he did, and it's something you may have probably not heard of before even. Most people have definitely not tried this as a way to cure their insomnia. Are you curious to figure out what it is? What is this thing that helped him when he had insomnia to fall asleep? It's this. He called it talking things through. Talking things through, meaning he had a friend, somebody he would share about his experience with bad sleep, about not being able to fall asleep or waking up during the night and having all those anxiety and feelings associated, all those bad things associated with bad sleep and sleep loss. So that's what he did, and he found out when he shared that, when he didn't keep it in, bottle it in, but instead sharing it, expressing it, he found that it helped. Hey, this is definitely the same day. This is not me recording this 24 hours later because I had to go to work last time, but where did we leave off? We left off with Pete and talking things through. That's right. So let's say you don't necessarily want to talk things through with anybody. What do? I distinctly remember back in my water white days when I thought that all my life would be spent in a laboratory working a 9-to-5 boring job, have a boring life, boring wife, boring kids, and do that over and over and over. Back then, I was sleep deprived so many days of the week. I felt weak and powerless, and when I would go to work, I felt so exhausted, I would just call up and say, hey, I'm sick, I cannot go to work today, because I was ashamed, I was embarrassed to talk about my sleep loss with my work colleagues or my boss or my friends or anybody really. So if you're in a similar position right now and maybe you don't necessarily want to share, sharing about that stuff, obviously it's we talked about, for me it was 24 hours ago, for you it was just a few moments ago. It's a very beneficial, but if you don't quite have that, what do? Well, here's what you do. You do you simply use the Robinson Crusoe trick. What's the Robinson Crusoe trick? Well, when he landed up on the lonely island, alone and scared and there, he found himself sad because all his friends were kind of dead and he was the only one alive, and he fell into a little bit of depression, and he even had some sleep loss there. So what did he do? He got a journal. He had some papers that he saved from the ship. He took an ink pot from the ship as well, but he didn't have any pen. So what did he do? He found a peacock feather from the island. He plucked that out of the tail of the peacock, and he took that and he started writing. And here's what he did. He took a page out of his journal. He separated the page into two halves like this. And he wrote on the left side one word, and on the right side another word. What did he write? I'm gonna show you right now. Here we go. He wrote bad on the left side and good on the right side. So on the bad side, he wrote things like, I am alone and all my friends are dead. On the good side, he wrote, but hey, I'm alive, I'm healthy, I have all of my fingers, all of my limbs attached to my body. That's pretty good. On the bad side, then he wrote, I'm on a lonely island and there are beasts that may be hiding in the bushes at night. on the good side, there's food, there's bananas and ripe apples and fish in the ocean that I can eat, so I'm not gonna die. I'm pretty good, and I can also find shelter, so that all those beasts in the forest they don't attack me. He also even had guns with ammunition, so he was set pretty well as he wrote this on his journal. As he wrote more and more and more in his journal, he realized, hey, things are not as bad as they seem. And after talking things through with his journal, he felt so much better. And by the way, that is exactly what journaling does. When you journal, it's really interesting. Our thoughts, when they're in the brain, they seem much more scary, like a scary monster when you don't see, because you don't see the thought. You don't see the thoughts when you're in your head, right? Well, when we don't see something, it's scary. It's hiding in the shadows, or it's hiding in the bushes, in the forest, in the island. We don't see it. We just see some rustling of the bushes. It's scary, we don't know what it is. But when we put it into paper, when we see it with our eyes, it's no longer scary. Even if it's something that could be potentially scary, we realize, okay, it's not a wolf. It's not a scary gray wolf. It's just a poodle. It's just a poodle dog hiding in the bushes. That's what journaling does. It creates this much, much better perspective of things, and also it allows you, you know what it allows you to do? It allows you to speak things through with the person that knows you the best, which is you. You know yourself better than anyone else in the world. So by journaling in your journal, just writing things through about your experience, whether it's with sleep or with anything else during your day, you find yourself feeling much calmer, much more relaxed and well. So that is something that if you're not doing it right now, you can definitely start doing this and see how it benefits you. And if you do, definitely let me know. I am curious to know how that works for you. So there you go. Robinson Crusoe slept well that night. And Pete Wells, did he sleep well after all these exercises? Well, we have a few more episodes coming in to find out, because Pete Wells, he doesn't have just one or bad sleep last night. He had a sleepless night after sleepless night for 2 months. He fell into the hole of chronic insomnia, into that dark, dark place. So is he gonna come out into the light? Well, tune in next time to find out. Now, next episode coming up, we have, let me just check. We have an interesting question, which is, does the sleep hygiene work? Yeah, does sleep hygiene work? Justin Chambers. What's gonna happen next with this man? Tune in next time to find out. And with that said, I'll see you in just 7 days. Bye bye.